Welcome back. It is 1638. In the last one, we had our first baby. So Austin has been born. We also had a war. So there was that. Priscilla is having some problems with some rumors spread about her and made a new friend. Also, Muriel wants to get together Sella and Abraham. And Jane and Elliot are back to normal. We'll see how long that lasts. For birthdays, we have Martha Hobard. No 13 or 19. Josiah Hobard, no 7 or 14. Will he marry? No 1 through 6. Ooh. Wow, we are not doing good on the marry roll departments. Anyway. Where was I? Muriel Larkin. No 3, 9, or 20. She survives to cause problems for other people another day. Aldith de Mohun, she has to get at least a 9. She does. All right. Well, we're doing pretty good here. 1638. Nothing. Nothing at all. Actually. I introduced this family also last year to the game, but we didn't actually meet them. I'm trying to figure out if I did this right. The baby is an infant. So it should be a toddler this year. Yeah, no, I got that wrong. Okay, we do have one birthday, and that is Hope Harper, but we'll meet the Harpers in a little bit. All right. I think that's it. Let's hop into the game. All right, I want to preface this by saying that I noticed some of my mods weren't working quite well, so I replaced them all, and then I forgot to do MCC settings transfer over, and then I lost a bunch of sims, and I had to restart the game, and anyway, so there might be a few little things to tweak in here, and some people are not wearing the right clothes, but that's a later me problem. So, to the story. Abigail is realizing that no one wants to marry her. No one wants to marry her because of her previous actions when she was younger, because of when, Muriel was kind of instigating her into doing stuff and, causing rumors, causing problems, causing drama. And because Abigail went along with all of that, she kind of got a reputation for a troublemaker. And now that she's older, and even though she has kind of cut ties with Muriel in a way and has tried to be better and to act more respectable, people still remember that past of her. And also her whole family's a dumpster fire. Like, come on. So because of all of that, she's finding it hard to find a husband. Meanwhile, we also still have Priscilla, who's dealing with the rumors that are being spread about her and Elias. And so because these two girls are having such a hard time, Sophronia is like, I have to do something here. Like, I have to try and help these girls because they are not doing well. They need a break. They need a vacation. So the three of them are going to go on a little trip to England. Abraham doesn't want to go. He doesn't care. He's trying to build a solid base because he wants to be Humphrey's successor, and nobody wants Muriel to come anyway. So the three of them are going to come to England and go on a little trip and kind of go to Sophronia's old stomping grounds and see the old house and then see the old neighbors. And so they're just hanging around. And so they do actually come here and chat with Philip and his father, Peter. Yeah, Peter. And so they're just hanging out. They're having a good time. We cannot see any of the ladies right now, but I promise they're there. And so they're just chatting. They're having a good time. Sophronia is reminiscing with Peter, and the girls are just chatting, and, Philip is getting to know them a little bit. And Abigail honestly feels refreshed by this. Like, she feels like, wow, someone who doesn't really know about my past, and doesn't know about my annoying sister cousin, and who doesn't, judge me based off of that stuff. And she's really enjoying talking to Philip. She is really enjoying it. And the two of them are just clicking really well. And she really, appreciates that he is someone who is seeing her for who she is now and not who she used to be. And so she really likes that. And he really likes her. He likes, her fun, free-spirited nature. Like, even though she's still a goofball, she's not, malicious. She's just, like, kind of funny and likes to have a good time. And he appreciates that from, like, a lot of the stuffier, more proper women that he has been in contact with. as his father tries to find him a wife. So I didn't realize everyone was cousins. I don't know how we're related to them. Like, I have to go look at the family tree because I didn't think we were actually related to these people. How are we related to the Hobards? We're the Larkins and the De Mohuns. How did that happen? I don't know. But anyway, so I'm just going to remove that. They're distant relatives now. We don't know them. So I'm trying to figure out how to do that. But I will fix that by the time the next video comes out. They won't be related. But anyway, so they're just really getting to know each other. He offers to show her, their garden, even though it's the winter and nothing is really growing, but he offers to kind of show her around, and she appreciates that. And so they're just chatting and they're getting to know each other, and both of them really find the other person refreshing and everything. And so, of course, things get a little flirty. So they're starting to flirt a bit with each other, really just kind of taking the plunge on this short vacation where it's not like, they're not there for long. If you want to take a chance, you got to take it now. Like there's not an option to kind of, oh, I'll see you later. No, you won't, because she's going back to America. So the two of them are, flirting and having a good time and enjoying each other's company. And she keeps appearing and disappearing. But, they really like each other. And she's like, will you write me when I'm in America? Like, can we, keep a correspondence? Could we maybe, figure something out? And, she is a De Mohun, so she had a respectable family, before all of the succession crises. And, it's not like she would be someone who couldn't marry a gentleman. He's not titled or anything. So they are flirting, they promise to write each other, they really enjoy it, and they just autonomously woohooed behind my back. So, well, I guess it's to my front, but they autonomously woohooed, and I'm like, you guys. So they've autonomously woohooed, and I check, this girl is pregnant. So, I mean, I was going to marry them anyway, but now, okay, she'll find out she's pregnant after she gets back to America, and we'll have to do a shotgun wedding next year. But yeah, the two of them are really enjoying each other's company, and will get married because now she's pregnant. Oh gosh. Anyway, so while they're there, they visit some old churches and different stuff, and Priscilla and Sophronia get talking about her issues with the rumors and with Elias and with everything. And Priscilla obviously isn't saying anything about her new friend, Chogan. So, they're just chatting, and Sophronia's like, look, I dealt with my fair share of reputational problems back when I lived here, right? She's like, I dealt with my fair share of problems, and let me tell you, at the end of the day, none of that matters. None of the gossip or the rumors or any of that stuff matters. What matters is that you have someone next to you that you want to be with, that loves you, that cherishes you, that will never turn their back on you. Remember, she had that problem. And so she's like, what matters is finding your person. And even if your reputation is ruined, it doesn't matter as long as you have each other. And so she's kind of trying to tell Priscilla, like, you just have to follow your heart. If you don't want to marry him, don't marry him. Don't do this just to save face to people who don't even care about you. Sophronia has a lot of experience with that kind of stuff. So that is something that Priscilla is going to take to heart. They get back from their trip, and she is going to immediately go and see Chogan, because ignore the outfits are wrong, but she goes to see him because she's like, talking to him was really nice for her. Like, she really enjoyed his company. And when Sophronia says, like, to find your person, he's the first person that just popped into her mind. So she is going to come out here to talk to him, and he's surprised. He hasn't seen her in a few months, obviously, because she took a trip to England, and she, tells him about her trip a little bit, and, he's surprised to see her after so long, and she's like, look, I like you. I want to talk to you more. I want to spend more time with you. And so he makes a move. He had a crush on her, remember? He always had a crush on her. So he makes a move, and they kiss. And she's actually feeling really giddy, feeling really good, feeling, like, wow, like, my grandma's right about this. So she is basically going to take the plunge. She's like, look, I don't have the best reputation back home. And he's like, we don't care about that kind of stuff. Actually, someone told me in the comments that, they didn't have, the Native Americans didn't have as strict like premarital woohoo standards. So he doesn't care about that. Even if the rumor is true, even if it's false, he doesn't care about that. And so he's like, let's see where it goes. And so she's actually really excited about that. And she comes home and she's like, wow, you know, she, for once in her life, because she has had so many men come on to her, but for once in her life, she finally feels like giddy over a guy. And so that is a surprise to her. She never thought that she would feel that way. So, meanwhile, also because of the settings issue, not everyone is in the club that is supposed to be. So, I'm going to deal with that later. But, Abraham is taking charge. Like, before anyone can like say let's vote or blah blah, Abraham is at the front of the church being like, so as Humphrey's protege, obviously I'll be taking the position of captain of the guard. He just kind of gets right up in there and does that. And then I'm going to introduce a new family. So this family was created by Mikopla, and it includes Tobias Harper and his wife Susanna, and then they have 3 children: Temperance, Nathaniel, and Hope. So that is the family there. And so Tobias is new to the town from last year, and he is very wealthy, and he is very into the Puritan values. He is very strict on those Puritan values. And so he is kind of immediately skeptical of Abraham. He's like, look, I get it. Like, Humphrey was training you to be a successor, but you're awfully young and blah, blah, blah. Even though I think Abraham's becoming a young adult next year. But, he kind of has his reservations, and Abraham's like, well, you know, I've been a part of this community my whole life, and I really know how it works, and I think we could work really well together, you and I. I think we could really have a good partnership here. And your daughter Temperance, who is to the right here, she's very beautiful and lovely, and I'm sure that she embodies your values as well, and the values we want to instill in the community. And so Tobias is kind of getting what Abraham is saying. He's like, oh, okay, like maybe if my daughter is the wife of the captain of the guard, like he knows that he is too new to the community to get the position, and his son is only a child, so he doesn't really have the opportunity to kind of take control in that way. But he sees like the in that Abraham is potentially presenting to him, and he's an ambitious sim. So he's like, wow, why don't you meet my daughter Temperance and my wife Susanna? And so they're all chatting and talking, and Temperance just kind of goes along to get along, and Susanna is very much the epitome of neat, family oriented, all of that stuff. So they are joining the conversation, joining the game here, so that they can all get to know each other a little better, and so that Abraham can kind of have an in here. Abraham is doing the schmoozing, doing the networking, and all of that. So he is definitely interested in not only the money, right? Like Tobias has a lot of money, and that can really help Abraham. And Tobias can, Abraham recognizes that Tobias can have a lot of power in this town, and so he wants to get a foot in the door immediately. So that is what's going on with him. And then what we also have here is the fact that last time, if you remember, Muriel was kind of trying to matchmake Abraham and Sela, because Muriel wants to be able to control Abraham's wife, and also Sela is her best friend. And so Sela kind of has it in her head now that she could marry Abraham, so she's going to start pursuing him and, want to spend time with him, want to talk with him, build a snow palace, swing on the swings, spend that quality time together. And because of that, like, Abraham is a player, right? Abraham flirts with all the ladies. So, he doesn't mind that Sela wants to flirt with him, that she wants to spend time with him, but he's just not taking her seriously. Like, he flirts back. He's like, yeah, like, being a playboy. But at the same time, he doesn't take her seriously as a marriage partner, because also, like, Abraham is ambitious as well. I don't know if he has a trait, but that's who he is. He's trying to be captain of the guard. He's trying to take control. And he's like, if I'm going to be the leader of this community, Sela is not the wife that I would pick that would make me have a good life and have a good status and all of that stuff. Like, she doesn't have money. She doesn't have power. Her father, even though he was captain, died a long time ago, long enough for everybody to really forget about him. And so because of all that, like, she has nothing to offer him except for, flirty, woohooey kind of stuff, you know? Like, she has nothing else to offer him, and he does not consider that as a potential wife. So, all that to say, um, he's encouraging her, or he's not encouraging her, but he's not discouraging her, you know, her pursuit of him. So she's all excited because she thinks that he's receptive, even though he's not. Meanwhile, we are actually going to go over to the Harper household, and we are going to spend some time. This house, I don't know, I downloaded it from the gallery, and it is not really furnished, but it's only furnished on one level. But so Temperance herself she's gloomy and she's a bookworm, and so she's been doing a lot of reading, and we're going to have her read about thanatology, which is, I think, the study of death from the Life and Death Pack. So she's very into like the macabre, like occult, that kind of stuff, which is so a no-no when it comes to her father and his very, very strict Puritan lifestyle. So she is kind of on the down low doing her own research and her own studies because she finds it really interesting, and she finds it, you know, something that she can kind of wonder about outside of the strict regimen of her own life that she is currently living. So she is really interested in occults and different things. So she is focused on that and trying to enjoy that and trying not to think about the fact that she's just going to have to act like her mother. You know, she's going to have to be like her mother and, you know, raise children and have a household and be, you know, the Stepford wife. And she doesn't really like that. So her parents are going to come and talk to her. And, you know, obviously they're nagging her about marriage and, you know, about finding a husband and all that stuff. And, you know, her father mentions Abraham and is like, well, you know, Abraham is a good choice. He is the captain of the guard. That would be really good for you and good for us. And she's, you know, she's just yes, smile and nod. Like, you know, she knows better than to try and talk back against her father, who is very strict, very patriarchal. She is not going to do that. She's not going to talk back. So she doesn't really care one way or another about Abraham. She's like, yeah, I guess he seems nice. Like, you know, she wants to like read books and have fun and you know, explore things and deepen her knowledge on things and learn about the supernatural and things that, you know, nobody knows about. But she knows that in her presenting to society, she needs to be the perfect lady. She needs to be the perfect lady who, you know, always does what she's told and always has a smile on her face. And so that is the problem that she's dealing with. So what we have here, there we go, is us coming back to our main household because it is Christmas, and so we're going to celebrate Christmas. I don't know what she is wearing. So some things are going on in this household, and we talked a little bit about it last time, that there is some, you know, disconnect from the way that they thought that this arrangement was going to work and the way that it's actually working. So we find that, you know, Bernard kind of feels like he's stuck in the middle here. Like he feels like he can't, you know, let Solomon know he's going to go woohoo with Margaret to have a baby, but also, you know, he doesn't want Margaret to always feel like she's third wheeling. Meanwhile, Margaret is feeling lonely. Like she has her baby now and she has her friends, but there's still something missing inside. And she's like, wow, like, you know, I didn't think I'd feel this way. I didn't think I'd care. But she realized that she does care. And so she's kind of struggling a bit with loneliness. And meanwhile, you know, Solomon is also struggling with his own jealousy of, you know, Bernard and Margaret having children together and living this life. I mean, Solomon has accepted that because he was outed, he's never going to marry or anything. But at the same time, he sees the two of them together and he gets jealous and he feels jealous and he feels awkward and he doesn't know what to do because he just doesn't know how to articulate that, like, maybe this isn't working as well as he had thought it would. He can't really keep his feelings in check. But Margaret, you know, is talking to Bernard and she's like, I want another baby, because she doesn't know what else to do to kind of get rid of this lonely feeling that she has. She's like, give me another baby. Like, let's have another baby. We can fill this household with children and maybe I won't feel like this anymore. And so the three of them are really struggling with this dynamic because, you know, it seemed like such a great idea at first. And they are all really good friends. Look, she's already pregnant. One woohoo. And I love how fertile you are, Margaret. But like, they're all really good friends and they all want this to work out, but it's not ideal. You know, ideally that the boys would have been able to be out and proud and live their life together. And Margaret would have, you know, been able to find a husband and do all this stuff. And Margaret probably could have found a husband, but, you know, she didn't have any suitors. She didn't have any options. She was getting older, and that is a real problem, you know, during this time period. So she just made the decision that she was best for her at that time. And so I think they're all really struggling with that. But Demita actually came to visit us, which I think is really sweet. I think that Margaret is actually really excited to have somebody else, you know, come around and chat with her and talk with her. And she didn't really think that she needed female friendships, especially after the disaster that was Sella. But that was nice of Demita to stop by and talk with her. So we are going to have another baby next year. And off camera, Jane had another baby, a boy that survived. And my dog is starting to bark, so I guess that means we have to wrap it up. Birthdays. Okay. We have Martha Hobard becoming a child, Josiah Hobard becoming a teenager, Muriel Larkin becoming a young adult, Hope Harper becoming a toddler, and Janice Phelps becoming a teenager. So that is all of what happened there. And yeah, so next year we are going to see another baby be born. And then also, I'm pretty sure, yeah, everybody's birthday is next year. And by everybody, I mean Abigail, Priscilla, Abraham, all of the kids that were born the same year there. So we are going to have a kind of scary role situation next year. But I hope you guys are excited for that, because I am excited to keep moving forward and dealing with the complexities of these situations in this time period. So I hope you're enjoying, and I'll catch you in the next one.